Welcome to the Dannyola Show, where we don't judge, we love, we appreciate, we educate, we elevate, and we motivate. We got a very, very special guest here today, the one and only, the hottest therapist in the U.S., Miss Shana Trahan. Hey, how you doing today? How you doing today?
Hi, Daniel. Thank you so much for all the applause.
Yes.
I'm doing quite well today. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing well. So, how was 2025 treating you so far?
So far, so good. Business is good.
Okay.
Being in the business of helping people, that part is good. And just serving,
I love to hear that. Absolutely great. So give us a little mini introduction about yourself, even though I kind of, gave you, all your flowers, but go ahead and give us a mini introduction about yourself.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Daniel. So basically, let's see, I was an educator for 20 years.
Okay.
I was in retail management for years before that. And I was in the military for many years. And so now I'm working in therapy. And so it's a first love of mine.
Okay.
And also recently, like I have 2 kids and 1 granddaughter. And right now I'm also working. I do I don't know if you want to call it work, but anyway, so on Wednesdays I do a prayer line, which is going pretty well. And then in the evenings I do a Bible study. So that's been a blessing.
Sheesh, y'all, she just got many hats around here, man. Look, let me try to get on as well. No, but congratulations to that. So with all your levels of experience of retail therapy and retail, I said retail therapy, retail and everything, like what made you become a therapist?
Wow, that's a good question, Daniel. Thank you so much for asking. So just to be honest, as I was growing up, and especially, I guess, preteen, teen years, people would always ask me, like, Shana, what do you think I should do? And I was like, I'm a kid. I don't know. What should you do? So, but anyway, so I often got, asked that question. And so I'm like, okay, this is my friend. I guess I should try to help. But also I would end up in weird situations, like literally in a store and somebody would come up to me that did not know me. And, they appeared to be pretty normal, stable state, but then they'd want to share their story with me and then ask me, what did I think, or to pray for someone, or different situations like that, right? And I think that those things, along with really teaching for 20 years at all levels, pretty much except for graduate level, it really made me see that people have needs beyond, like when the kids come to the classroom, before they would come, I want to observe them and make sure that they're okay, and make sure that all their needs are met before they come in the classroom to learn. So I think just, all those things coupled together, like.
Wow, that is amazing. So what was there a moment when you knew that this was the right path for you?
Well, all right. So I'm going to go a little deep for you. Okay. So whenever I transitioned, so I was working in a hospital and I was working at a high school, literally after Christmas break, that Sunday before we were to return to school, I was like, you know what, I cannot do this school anymore. I'm so done. I'm finished. And I literally emailed the principal, emailed HR, and I was like, thank you, but I'm done. I'll get my computer back to you. I'll get your keys to you. Don't worry about those things, but like, I'm done. And so at that point, I was only working part-time in a hospital. I got another part-time gig in a hospital. And I was just thoroughly enjoying it. And from working with like 5-year-olds all the way to like 96-year-olds, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just like, I never worked a day since I've been doing therapy.
Wow, that is amazing. Talk about, if it's your passion, and you it doesn't feel like work at all. And that's truly amazing about how many lives that you didn't touch so far, and the lives that you are going to touch in the near future as well. So what kind of therapy do you specialize in, and why?
So I love that question because people are often looking for the next hot thing, when they're online and they're looking, what kind of therapy is good or what is bad. And I really love the fact that I have part of my background in education is in special education, and so working with kids with special needs. And to me, every child has an exceptional need in different ways, right? But anyway, that meant that we had to be very specialized in our approach. And so in therapy, what that's called is integrative. And what that means is that I'm looking at that particular person and I'm taking different components from different types of therapy to use for that one particular person as I recognize the need, as opposed to saying, oh, I'm only doing DBT, oh, I'm only doing CBT or whatever. I am pulling different parts of the different areas of therapy for that particular person. So it's really more specialized in that it is pulling from all of the things that are known and studied and said to have worked just for that individual person. So,
Dang, man, you put me on things I ain't never know. Now you said CBT and DBT. What are those acronyms? Because I have no idea.
well, I will just tell you like this. The bottom line is that in therapy, there are things that become buzzwords. And when people start hearing about a certain kind of therapy, and then that's what they're looking for. But DBT is something that's used for lots of trauma. And though I do address trauma, I haven't done a lot of very, very, very heavy trauma. But I've done trauma and I've, worked through grief and a lot of, different things like that. But CBT is going to be your standard. Let's talk about it, maybe some questions going back and forth and things like that. So, but generally speaking, I think that integrative therapy is truly the way to go because it is taking each person as an individual instead of saying, hey, we're going to only do this stuff for you when these things can really work for you. Does that make any sense? So you get the whole pizza. You don't just get part of the pizza. You get the pepperoni, the cheese, everything, the green olives. So yeah.
Making me hungry over here. Not gonna lie. No, that is absolutely amazing. So, okay, people got to find out what your social media is so they can book you or like your website and all that. So what's all that information? Because what you telling me is like, hey, man, I may need to sign up. What's the website for them to reach you and everything?
Well, let me share this with you too. I do have a couple other new therapists working along with me right now.
Okay.
So just know that. But anyway, so definitely we are at TrahanTherapyHouston.com.
Okay.
However, we're not only in Houston right now. We're in Louisiana. We're in Rhode Island, New Mexico, Delaware, New Hampshire. Did I say everywhere? Texas, so we're about to be in Wyoming and Florida. So we are growing as God allows us that capacity, right? And insofar as social media, so on Facebook, we are Trahan Therapy Center. And then on Instagram, we are Trahan Therapy Houston. And on X, we are Trahan Therapy with a capital T on both capital.
Say no more. Hey, I hope y'all got that. But don't worry, on this episode, I'm going to post everything that she said. So y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. So y'all can go ahead and book and do what it is that y'all. So what's a common misconception people have about therapy?
I think they have a lot of them. I think people think that therapy fixes people. And what I tell clients all the time is that while the therapist is a huge part of you becoming the person that you want to become or changing things in your life or improving certain things in your life that you want to improve, it also comes with you doing your homework, you being consistent with the things that you and your therapist have agreed that you're going to do in order to change your life or to see a better life or a better outcome. And so that is one of the main components of therapy. It's not just, oh, Shana Trahan has all the answers. Don't get me wrong. I'm like this excellent problem solver. But honestly, at the end of the day, I mean, the one problem I cannot solve is you doing it at home when you get off the couch, when you leave off the screen. Like, you have to be the person that intends to do better, have a better outcome in whatever that requires. So yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay. And yeah, and I know in the African culture, you know what I'm saying, and I know also in the black culture as well, you know, people will say, "Oh, therapy is for crazy people." And then, you know, and when I was younger, I used to have that mindset because that's what I was hearing all the time. Like, "Oh, it's for crazy people." But it's like, no, you know, as you get older and you open your mind to new things, you see, oh, it's really nice for those that, you know, is seeking help, you know what I'm saying, that is actually seeking a better opportunity to become greater or to unlock that inner greatness that is within them. So I definitely say, hey, if you do need therapy, don't hesitate. And you know, crazy enough, a lot of people don't utilize, you know, when they do have a 9 to 5, the insurance that covers, you know, these therapy sessions. So I would say, y'all, if you know your job got some good insurance, go ahead and try to book you a session. Maybe you got a free session. Just go ahead and do it. How do you recommend people find the right therapist for them?
I think finding a good therapist for you is number one is you have to come to the table being rational. Unfortunately, I have come across some situations whereas I can remember just like it was yesterday, and there was a particular couple, and one of the people in the couple was like, "Well, they keep changing therapists because the therapist won't agree with them." So first things first is that you have to kind of be, semi-rational walking through the door. But out beyond that, it's really going to be you being ready for the change, and there could be personality, clashes. I mean, people are people. People have their own personalities, but mainly just go in with an open mind and an open heart. If you know that you want the services that's provided, just be open and try it. Sometimes, you maybe look for someone from your culture or maybe a brown or black person like you. But I will tell you that I certainly service everyone. I mean, you would just be surprised at the different cultures and races that I've served, and then different people from different religious backgrounds or religious sects and things like that. And I don't do that, and I do that with care. I will say that I do that with care because faith is a huge thing, and whenever you talk to people about faith, you definitely have to have some wisdom and some background knowledge, and just to know what to say and what not to say and how to support. It's not like, we can't just throw stuff out there and say, oh, I'm a faith-based therapist because, oh, that's going to get me a client. So we really have to be mindful of what kind of tactics and techniques that we're using in the marketing aspect of trying to say who we are. And but yeah, whenever you're looking for a therapist, I would say just take it one moment at a time. And certainly you can ask some questions, but you never really know who that other person is until you spend some time with them and you get to see their loving care, their tenderness toward you and your situation until you're there in that situation.
Okay, so there's no really estimate time span of what people can like look for, like, okay, I'm not really feeling this, or because I know it do require some patience. Is there like an estimate time span, or you could just say it just depends? It just depends on how you feel. Or
Well,
something.
the reason that I'm not being quite specific on that is
Okay.
because every therapist does things differently. For me, for example, I do an intake.
Okay.
So I'm going to say in the intake process, that may not just be the place where you're really getting to know the therapist yet. And then after you do the intake with me or my group, then you will do what's called a treatment plan. And there we were going to work on goals and objectives and things like that. So again, the first 2 sessions, you're really not knowing that person.
Okay.
But you can usually pay in advance. Most therapists will have it where you can pay for a consult. Sometimes they'll talk to you 5 minutes or something, but if they talk to you more than that, you're going to have to just pay for a session. So, and then in that session, you can say, hey, I just want to talk about general things or ask questions more or what have you. And then people will often do a fully paid consultation.
Okay.
But again, sometimes it just takes time for both parties to warm up to each other and, for you to really know. So it's just and sometimes you can just get turned off at the beginning, So if you get turned off at the beginning, okay, to close the door and move forward. But give yourself the opportunity to get to know the person. 3 sessions, 5 sessions. So, yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I hope y'all listening in on this, man, for real. So, what's one small thing someone can do today to improve their mental health?
So would you like so I'll give you 2 answers.
Okay. Hey, we got time. We got time.
Okay, that's awesome. The first thing that came to my mind, to be honest, is to pray.
Okay.
That was the first thing that came to my mind, and so that is to pray and to read the Word.
Okay.
But outside of that, so I would say know yourself. And sometimes we perceive ourselves in ways it's not really who we are. Like 1,000 other people see you differently. And so being able to know who we are and be honest with ourselves. And if someone that we love gives us input, like take some time and kind of reflect on that, right? Self-reflection is really good. Journaling for self. What happened today? How did I handle it? How could I have handled it better? Just taking a little time to be honest with yourself about who you really are, not who it is that you portray, not who it is that you are when the boys come around or when the girls come around, but who you are when that door closes behind you, and now you have to look yourself in the mirror, like just being honest with yourself about who you are.
Man, and I definitely agree with that. I would say social media also plays a big part of that as well, because people see the facade or just see somebody's lifestyle and say, wow, they have it all. They have the cars, the money, X, Y, and Z. They're traveling. So so they look down on themselves and be like, oh, well, I'm not there. Oh, wow, I'm just, I'm nothing or whatnot. And that can really weigh on you if you keep telling yourself that day by day, So I definitely agree with that.
This is waning. Is this entertaining?
What are signs of emotional burnout people often ignore?
I would say just feeling very tired, like, just feeling very tired. So difficulty focusing. Also, I would say, just that tiredness, because somebody that's usually all vibrant and moving and doing things and going places and all that, and then all of a sudden it's like, I'm gonna just do it later, or oh, I'm so
Yeah.
tired, or they're like that. I mean, I think that really says a lot. All of a sudden, there is this big change. So, any change in your life that is drastic, but you're not not sick that you're aware of, yeah, I'd be concerned about that.
Okay. So how do you take care of your own mental health after listening to all the heavy stuff all day? Like, what does self-care look like for you? How do you take care of yourself?
Well, one of the things I really do, to be honest with you, is that I do pray a lot, and then I do, I give it they say give it to God in church. I mean, I really give it to God, because
Okay.
I feel like He's the keeper, and he's a strength. But I certainly love great vacations, national and international.
Okay.
I know how to take a good 30 days off. I mean, it's I love my people, but I also have to love myself and protect myself and keep myself well. And one of the great things that I do with most of my clients is that we create a rapport, whereas they learn and understand that we take care of each other. They take care of me in the way that if something happens on my end and I need to reschedule, which has rarely ever happened, maybe once or twice, that they understand and that they're patient with me, right?
Yeah.
So that we have to take care of each other, and that it's a reciprocal relationship in that way regarding that particular thing. But I think that walking, drinking lots of water, lots of movement, some stand-up sessions where I'm standing up at the desk, not just sitting down all the time, and just having fun events. Just went to a couple of comedy shows.
Okay.
Looking forward to in New Orleans to the Jazz Fest, things like that. So just also, just having fun, being with friends or family, things like that. So I look forward to it all the time, all that stuff.
And man, shout out to you, number one. Number two, I really want to touch on that. Taking care of yourself. I feel like a lot of times we're moving so much that we forget about ourselves. And I tell people all the time, I remember one day when I was doing X, Y, and Z for the church and everything in Huntsville, and my brother sat me down and asked me, was like, bro, when's the last time you prayed for yourself? I said, yeah, at a house fellowship I was like, no, bro, for you. I said, oh, dang, it's been a while. He said my point exactly. Relax, man. So I definitely agree with you on that one of, just really taking care of yourself and making sure that you're okay. And to always protect yourself. So I definitely agree heavy on what you're saying with that one. So what's the most rewarding part of your job?
Thank you for that question. Last week I was gosh, the weeks have kind of merged in. But anyway, so last week I was talking to several different clients at different times, and something that I brought up to some of them was how I was so glad to be working with them because they were just excellent stewards of therapy insofar as they kept their word. They did what I asked of them. They were consistent. They got excellent outcomes.
Okay.
It's really easy to say, oh, I just had a terrible therapist, but is it easy to say, you know what, I just didn't work the system. I did not work therapy, right? And so we have to be accountable to ourselves and to our family, certainly, if we have kids or husband or wife. So we have to just do that part. So yeah, that's something that was very rewarding, just seeing people come kind of to the end of the road. And typically, like, therapy will start once a week, then once every couple of weeks, once every 3 weeks, once every 4 weeks, once every quarter, then twice a year, as people grow and they stay in therapy at least twice a year, because I already know your story. Like, why would you go somewhere else and start fresh like you never had a life? Like, be with someone who you've developed a great rapport with, someone who knows you, who knows your story, who has seen you when it was tough and has seen you overcome challenges. I mean, yeah, stay with that therapist. I mean, that's like a lifelong relationship.
Okay. So what personality traits or skills do you think are a must-have to be successful in this career?
You know what? I think being a good listener, someone who actually cares about people, like has a heart for people, not to the degree where you're getting taken advantage of anyway, but just to the degree that you care about the outcomes of people. For me, this is certainly, if God said, Shana, look, I have you 100%, you can stop collecting money and I got you. If he called me right now and said, Shana, just stop collecting money, but still see the people, I would still see the people. You know what I mean? Like, it should be something that is not about a dollar. Certainly, everybody's family's got to live.
Yeah,
but it should not be solely about a dollar. It should be about a person. It should be about a family. It should be about a community. It should be about the world. At the end of the day, when I help a person who has a family, who lives in a community, that lives in a city, that lives in a state, that lives in a country, I have helped that entire country by helping that one person. Right? And so you help the one person, you help that country, now you've helped the whole, you helped the entire North America, all of Canada. You've helped you've helped all of, Well, so it's you should have a heart for people, 1,000%.
That's deep. I'm not gonna lie, that's deep. I almost shed a little thug to y'all. Let me fix my glasses real quick. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Woo. Let's get back to this, y'all. Had to take a little moment there. So, what's one piece of advice you wish someone gave you before you started?
One piece of advice. So by pausing on this question, it's not an indication that I know everything, but I am the kind of person that is a hard worker and that will research and read and figure things out and ask questions and watch videos and, all whatever I need to do in order to make it happen. So I'm glad that, I'm glad of just how it started. I started basically from scratch, trying to figure out insurance, trying to figure out, location, trying to figure out name, figuring out, being, just the whole, everything that goes along with being a therapist and having a business. I mean, I So I mean, I'm scrappy like that. I mean, I just had to get with it and figure it out and make it happen. So
Yeah.
I'm glad with the amount or the level of or lack thereof of input. I mean, it worked out well. It's been almost 7 years now, so thank God. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Okay. So, okay, shoot. Look, Shana, I really appreciate all of what you've done, what you said, how you helped the people. He's doing great things, and I just pray that God continue to bless you, guide you, protect you, and just continue to uplift you in all that you do. So, y'all, that concludes the episode of the Dannyola Show with Shana Trahan, and we are